Hey guys, Brent Hull, happy Wednesday. More design videos. We're gonna make this kind of a standard series. Be sure to send me pictures of things that maybe you don't understand. Maybe I'll try to grab one of those or two of those and help make it better. Today we're looking at kind of a Mediterranean house, right? And I'm gonna talk about what does the house want to be? And really standing at the outside, looking at it, trying to figure it out, I think really does help us put our mind around this one. And this house is, what is it exactly? And it has a barrel tile roof, but that's about the only feature that really works for me. So you'll see I've taken it in an Italian direction, but I've simplified these details. There's all these bumps and bruises and changes going all over this house. This is probably a $2 million house. And so if you're gonna spend that much money, might as well get the details right. And so I think we've made it better. There was a concept I had in one of my videos of designing from the inside out. In other words, they lay out their floor plan and they go, well, I need a bump out here because this is gonna fit here. And all of a sudden the outside of the house looks all, discombobulated. That's what happened here. It looks like, because there's all these bumps and bruises going all over this thing, there's no order and it looks disordered from the outside. So come check this one out. Let me know what you think. So a lot of times when you're fixing houses and when you're looking at things, you're discussing what the house wants to be, because that gives you design clues on where to go. In this case, it's wanting to be traditional. It's got columns on pedestals. It's got, some kind of form of an entablature here. These bay windows, on both sides, I don't feel really help very much. To fix this, right, I'm gonna increase the size of my entablature because it looks like all I've got is an architrave up there. Should be a frieze, right? So I could come across here and create a better entablature, right? And, fix the proportions. I might go to a single column here, big strong single column here. Here's one problem, these big panes of glass, and I don't get it. They've got a divided light here, they've got open panes here. It looks like your eyes have been poked out. If I just, drew in some divided light buttons in here, they would look better, okay? It's amazing what the divided light can help do as far as create scale and proportion, because this, the door handle right there gives me a sense of scale for how big that whole window is, right? A brick sometimes will give you a sense of scale. Certainly the window panes give you a sense of scale. And when a window has no glass like that, it becomes hard to visualize and see. Now, I tell you all that because, we're looking at this house next. What does it want to be? And how do you go about fixing this house when it's unclear really what's going on? Because this has a barrel tile roof, right? You go, okay, well, it's kind of Mediterranean. Well, there's nothing here that really speaks to Mediterranean or makes me think it's Mediterranean except the roof. And so then it leads to a little bit of confusion. Then you've got this piece here, which is a weird orientation for a kind of a classical porch, right? We've got columns that sit up underneath the eave. Because this goes back and then it cuts over in this corner, then it comes back and goes out so that I have these, projecting kind of pieces here. There's no, historic precedent for this kind of jut out here. And what it does is it makes for some weird column things that are going back in there. And so it's just odd. And so because the parts and pieces aren't there and because it hasn't been executed very well, and then look just as a massing issue, just how big this big piece is back here. There's no windows on it. They've highlighted some kind of a cover with the thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a game room or if it's the garage of this house, but this mass becomes really hard, okay? Because it's the biggest mass on this house that isn't broken up. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna take it in an Italian direction, because if you look at it, you've got this bay window that sticks out. It causes this interesting roof detail. Got another bay that kicks out here, another bay that kicks out here, and it causes my roof line to really jut around and jump around and fall around. So we've got a balcony out here. It's kind of built up on this terrace, and so what I'm doing is I'm introducing windows into these bays just so that we can get some rhythm and some order to this, because this is disorderly. Okay, this is not ordered. And one of the things that classical designs and classical things do is they order things. And so you'll notice I've got door over window, door over window. I've, where that front porch or that walkout balcony, I've just given them the whole walkout balcony across this whole area here with some kind of balustrade, because this level here goes back and then up to there. So I've got a porch in there of, maybe it's only 6 feet, maybe it's just kind of a walkout terrace, but this now, small window over this window, door over window, window over window, door over window. I've now taken all those jut outs and I've kind of unified it and drawn it together. I've also taken this jut out and just made it round instead of segmented. And so that allows me to put a little prettier little roof cap onto it. Same number of windows, kind of same placement, but this would be rounded. It allows me to do a metal roof on top and, start to build in some unifying details. I went back with this with just kind of an arched opening, just kind of as a drive-through. I would reduce this scale. I'm not sure I'd even do this. I don't think you need necessarily a porch 15 or 20 feet from your front door to drive through to support, but maybe it's so different from the rest of the house. I'd rather kind of get rid of it. And so that would be one consideration. I think this house would look better if it didn't have that. And then notice what I did on this big back piece. I took out that window. I've tried to landscape over it. I've also brought the roof down to about this level, okay? And then I've hipped it out here. But what that does is that just lessens the mass and allows this to have more importance. I brought Italian cypress kind of things in here to kind of hide that a little bit. Notice too in the front, the big pillars, I've just lessened them and dropped them down a little bit so they don't distract. This can be a kind of a handsome house, right? It looks much more traditional. It doesn't look quite as haphazard, and it's easier to read and to understand. And so notice that part of what I'm doing is I am just making it easier to read. I've toned things down. I've kind of lessened the emergency of all these different high-level things. And by simplify, we end up with something that's a little bit more orderly, easier to read, and I think prettier to look at. Okay guys, what did you think? Be sure to answer in the comment section. I read all those, I try to reply to them all. Simplifying this house, really trying to create that order and the rhythm and the harmony, right? Not having blank spots in the wall, changing the massing, really does, I think, help this house, help it create a narrative, create a story, like what style am I, when was I built? All those kind of things can help change the way we, build our houses and think about our houses, and I think improve it. So be sure to answer in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm Brent Hull.